You certainly didn't lie. This is a healthy-looking specimen, to be sure. Very well, then. Here's your payment. Hello there. Shh. I'm sure you're frightened, being locked up in chains like this for so long. Don't worry. I'm going to take you away from this awful place. There. Just take it slow. There's no rush. You can lean on me if you aren't ready to walk on your own just yet. That's it. This way, dear. There's a carriage waiting for us. You're doing very well. Just watch your step getting in. There we are. Go ahead and lay back. Do you need anything? I imagine you probably haven't eaten properly lately. I have some chilled wine in here, some nice fresh fruit. Of course, dear, just be careful not to spill. The road is a little bumpy at times. I hope it helps the soreness at least a little bit. Now, time for introductions. My name is Adriana. What's yours? Well, it's lovely to meet you. If you don't mind me asking, how did you end up with a slave trader? Oh dear, what horrible luck. It always saddens me to hear stories like that. Well, things will be looking up for you from now on. Don't you worry. Oh my, I'm afraid I may have given you the wrong idea. I wouldn't say that I necessarily saved you. At least, not in the sense that I plan on letting you go. I bought you. To be honest, you were quite expensive. Though I'm sure you're well worth the price. Shh, none of that now. Although, I do understand how you must feel, to be honest. I abhor slave traders, I really do. I can't imagine how twisted a person has to be in order to make a career out of it. And yet, I quite literally couldn't live without them. Well, it's really quite simple, dear. I'm a vampire. Do you not notice the fangs? Well, it's night time, I suppose, but yes, I'm more or less what you're imagining. Undead, drinking blood, that whole bit. But what you probably didn't realize is that there are quite a few vampires who don't enjoy bringing harm to others. In fact, there are enough of us for a whole city, which is where we are right now. So rather than skulk about the night, draining people dry, we worked out a system. Having such a long life means you can amass quite a bit of wealth, and we use that to buy slaves who would otherwise go off to who knows where. Rather than live a life of pain and toil, you'll be able to live comfortably with me in my mansion. All I ask in return is a small amount of blood every so often. Hush now, it's really not as bad as you think. I have quite a few rescued slaves. I call them my dear ones. The point of all of this is to spread my feeding across many different people. Each night, I have 3 or 4 of my dear ones on duty for feeding. I take a safe amount of blood from each of them. After that, I won't feed on them until it's their turn again. That way, they have time to replenish their blood. See, dear, I am very careful about it. All the vampires here we care about you and want to make sure you're safe. Why use slaves? Well, it's true I'd rather take in willing participants, but there's such a stigma surrounding vampires, so hardly anyone ever volunteers, which is a shame, because it's quite generous offer, I'd say. Aside from feedings, the only thing you need to do is take some shifts helping with chores, or just as decoration. I'd like to have some of my dear ones just dress up in cute outfits and sit around the mansion for me to look at. Aside from that, Oh dear, are you crying, dear? Are you afraid? Shh, it's all right. I know that it's a lot to take in. Your old life is over, and that's very hard to accept. I felt scared too when I became a vampire. I was drained in my sleep, so I didn't even understand what was happening at first. I just woke up to a figure leaping out of my bedroom window. I felt cold. So cold. And immediately, I was thirsty for blood. It was an awful experience, and by the time I figured out what had happened, I knew I didn't want that to happen to anyone else. That's why I do this, you see. I know it might seem like I stole your old life from you, but I swear I would never hurt you. I'm saving you from a much worse fate. I promise you that as long as you live under my roof, I'll care for you and keep you safe. I'm your owner now, and I take that responsibility very seriously. You're still scared, aren't you? Oh, poor thing. I wish there was something I could say to make you feel at ease. Although perhaps there is something I could do. Instead, if you would be willing to hear me out, perhaps we could do a small feeding right now. Shh. Please don't panic. This is just an option, dear. You must give me some of your blood eventually. I know it sounds frightening, but it's nowhere near as bad as I'm sure you're imagining. Keep in mind, I slept through being completely drained, well, mostly drained, to be turned. You only have to lose enough blood to die. Sorry, not helping. The point is, it's not actually painful. I hear it's a bit uncomfortable if you're not used to it, but it can also be very relaxing. It would help calm your nerves, and you wouldn't have to spend days worrying about it once you realize how easy it is. I don't want to pressure you into a decision, but I really think it would be the best choice to just get it over with. Oh, you'll do it? I'm so glad to hear that. Wait just one moment, we're almost there. Best not to do this while we're moving, of course. Driver, stop right here outside the gates, would you? Thank you, dear. Okay, are you ready? Come over and sit next to me. Good. Take a nice deep breath. Let me just get a look at your neck. Oh yes, I know it's dark,